split 50-50% here, and that is
we've never seen that.
We've never seen Twitch chat not be sure about something, and this time they have a question mark, and we are about to find the answer, making a movie versus Super Frogs.
All right, Chun-Li and Chen was just behind the pillar there. There's that gateway. Acrolos and Maro are going to be pushing in to make their move very soon. Maro using that invis isn't able to get a sheep, but they open up into the Cubsy. They force that Astral Shift without that Vendetta. That's a huge cooldown straight away, and that could be big trouble for them. But Acrolos using his Trinket Evasion and Vanish as well defensively to survive that go from Super Frogs. There's that kidney shot on the Cubsy. He doesn't have the Astral Shift. He has the Trinket. He uses that Health Stone. It might not be enough. He's getting completely slaughtered. He has to use that Spirit Link as well as the Ascendance. So many cooldowns being used in the very opener.
They're just flat out all-inning Cubsy. Will he be able to handle the pressure? We saw Peekaboo do the same earlier to Minpoike. Acro now getting life gripped away. That was their hit. They got all of the cooldowns basically out of the way. Now they're just trying to retreat, recover, and set up for the next attack. In the meantime, though, Chun-Li is trying to get some work done, but getting polymorphed away. Maro doing a great job deflecting this, and now they've leaped in onto Cubsy. A full kidney shot has been secured. Penances are flying. Ratify fears up Chun-Li. He has to trinket to support Cubsy, landing the double stun. Good peels from Chun-Li, but trading his trinket for Cubsy, and Acro is in hot pursuit. I believe the Shadow Step kick was fake casted. Will he be able to handle the pressure? Paralysis onto Acro, but Cubsy gets counterspelled by Maro. Cubsy ducking behind the pillar. Is he gonna be able to handle it? He's down at half. He gets one healing surge, gets two. Great peels from Chun-Li, keeping Acro off of Cubsy there.
Indeed, Chun-Li's doing an amazing job with his peels. It's the only reason Cubsy's really alive right now. He's playing so well on that Windwalker, and now they need to try and get pressure themselves. Fist of Fury onto Maro with the touch of death. He's trying to get so much momentum onto Maro right now, and that forces out that pain suppression from Ratify, and they're slowly but surely getting cooldowns from making a movie, and Ratify is running pretty fast.
Yeah, he's running out of mana very soon. There's the full blind as they do try to make a setup onto possibly Chun-Li with no trinket, but they're not able to connect, and Maro is actually the one on the back foot off the back of that fear crowd control on Ratify, and it's still following up. Ratify needs to do something quick here to pick Maro up. The ice block is now over, but in the meantime, Cubsy gets kidney shot. Maro blinks in. Vendetta has been popped. How will Cubsy deal with this once again? Astral Shift gets traded out. Perfect cooldown timings from Cubsy. This should allow him to survive unless Maro can sneak in some extra damage, but he gets spell locked by Chanimal. Chanimal knows exactly what he needs to stop, now fearing Acro off of Cubsy. Perfect defensive play, and now Maro is on the back foot with no ice block, blinking away from Chun-Li and still trying to be aggressive. It's a race to the finish, but Ratify gets fully feared. Who will fall first? Capacitator Totem has been landed, but Maro is being drained sold. Cubsy is trinketed out. Maro hangs on. He gets life gripped back behind the pillar, and now Cubsy is in trouble. Barrage connects on 5%, but it's more than enough as making a movie secure game number 1.
What a start to this series. Absolutely insane, and you can hear them behind us right now. Still getting loud here. They want to make sure that they play it out. It's looking pretty grim, though, for Super Frogs, and we are going to see them finally decide to leave there, making a movie, going to be off to a great start. And Acrolos and Maro, this is just the duo. We have hyped up Ratify so many times, always very well deserved. He does what he does the best, but I feel like you just can't give enough praise to Acrolos in his first land, just being a GOAT constantly. And Maro, I mean, has just always wowed me. Zico, as a mage player, what is it about Maro that allows him to just perform so consistently and at such a high level?
It's just that he has complete mastery of the mage class. He plays Frost Mage phenomenally, plays the Arcane Mage really, really well, and you also took the words pretty much right out of my mouth. The synergy between Acro and Maro is really something else that is coming as well. It's just incredible what these guys are able to do when they are playing this composition. They really know how to force the highest amount of cooldowns when they are playing against this matchup. And here in this opener, they had such a great opener. It's very, very intelligent. We can just take a look right before Cubsy is taking this gateway right here. Well, he's in the middle of it, but if we take a quick look at Cubsy's cooldowns, we can see here that he has used his Astral Shift in that opener, and the reason for that is because Maro uses his mass invisibility to cast out that Mark of Aluneth, and then Acro comes in with the Garrote into the kidney shot onto Cubsy, and when you do the Garrote, you can use the Astral Shift in that silence, and when you pre-Astral Shift before the kidney shot happens, Acro is just not going to use the kidney shot. Instead, he's going to wait for that Astral Shift to fade and then come in with the kidney shot here with the Vendetta, with the arcane power. Cubsy getting stunned up on his trinket, and honestly,
heals will be enough to mitigate the pressure. Super Frogs were favored when we came into this series, but making a movie has already pulled ahead.
All right, making movie a blind lock frost sub, so this opener could be even more bursty as they start the attack onto Chun-Li. Frozen Orb has been planted. Lots of damage as Chun-Li gets bursted down to nearly 10% health early on. Touch of Karma has already been forced. Now a Seki display onto Ratify as they look to try and rotate the pressure towards Maro. They need to force a block off this, and they do get it. Maro blocking at nearly 5% HP. Now they could commit the Touch of Death during this hypothermia period of time where Maro can't use his second block, but Chun-Li needs to be careful to not overextend, so this is going to be a risky decision for the Super Frogs to make.
That was an insane amount of burst coming out from Chanimals and Chun-Li. Now they make a swap over to Acro. Chanimals getting a lot of pressure with those unstable afflictions, able to cast them out and get so much damage rolling in, and that's going to be a question on Rapai's mana. He's playing that Dark Archangel, so there's going to be a lot of those offensive goes, but at the same time, Rapai will run out of mana before Cubsy.
All right, we can see a kidney shot on Cubsy as Mara blinks in to follow up with the full Polymorph Frozen Orb drop. This could easily be the trinket from Chun-Li if they can dish out the damage. Chanimal desperately trying to peel with Spam Fears. The Fears have bought a little bit of time for Chun-Li to get out of the stun lock, and it looks like he's going to be able to recover. Cubsy, though, is trying to be greedy by sitting through this full duration blind. It looks like he might be able to get away with it, but it's a greedy decision. Chun-Li ports back. He's going to heal up to full. Good defense from Chanimal, and nice greed from Cubsy. That means he can be safe moving forward to get aggressive to force a second ice block.
Indeed, and that greed came from Chun-Li pre-fortified brewing the go, and that's what saved him. So an excellent play once again from Chun-Li, playing remarkable. And Fear onto Rapai, burst damage onto Mara right now. Chan was looking for a follow-up phase, unable to get it. Acro lost all over him. But Mara still dropping very low, and the second ice block has been forced, and Super Frogs are looking much more dominant against the salty frost specializations.
And they've got trinkets on all three members. They can play as aggressive as they want to in this position and just close the game out. I'd almost wonder if Channel's going to use Unending Resolve to cast Fears, but they try to catch Chun-Li out with the smoke bomb. He can easily just trinket this, but he needs to be careful to not get stunned on the trinket. Healing elixirs pick him back up slightly. There's the Touch of Karma. They're going to go all in off the back of this. I can imagine Cubsy needs to reposition forward. He's trying to get some lava burst. They need crowd control on Ratify. A paralysis into a Fear. There's the paralysis. Let's see if Channel uses Unending Resolve. He fake casts the kick. He goes for the follow-up Fear. Not able to get it. Actually fearing Acro. Now fearing Rata. Maro in trouble. Will it be enough? Unfortunately, the Fear was still DR'd onto Ratify. Pain Suppression connects. That will stall out the game. Now it's up to making a movie to make something happen here as they swap the Cubsy, catching him midfield in a kidney shot, cheap shot follow-up. Maro getting Fist of Fury away by Chun-Li to peel. Astral Shift gets traded out quite evenly. Spell Lock secured onto Ratify. Wind Shear now onto the Shadow Man. Good follow-up from Cubsy. Maro still under fire, but Rapture should be enough for Ratify here to stabilize. Mana, though, not looking good for making a movie.
Indeed, and that Rapture is their last huge defensive for quite some time, so he has used that and they've stabilized, but the next go from Super Frogs could be a devastating one onto Maro. There's the Fist of Fury, there's this burst damage, so much damage! He's gonna get finished! He sapped Ratify, spell locks his trinket! Surely he goes down, and the Temporal Shield doesn't proc! And there it is, Super Frogs tying things up 1-1 with this Windwalk Lock Shaman.
And we can see this is going to be a series right now, tied up 1-1. And Zico, what changed going into game number 2?
Chun-Li is just phenomenal at this game. That pre-fortifying brew on that big setup really was the big moment in this game. They not only survives the setup and prolong the game and get a chance to go offensive, but also they managed to let Cubsy sit through a full blind, a full sheep as well. So, I mean, that just, you are so far behind. You need to force the Shaman's trinket still out of that. And Chun-Li as well, holding his trinket in the smoke bomb, holding his trinket in the opener, consistently making sure that he saves his trinket for the proper time to use it. And Chun-Li defensively, you are not going to be killing this guy because he is so good at surviving together with Chanimal as well. It's just the Chanimal effect, like Joe said yesterday.
The first one, if they trade back and forth and go to a game 5, they will have the advantage. But now this could be the swing matchup here. Will making a movie be able to take it, or will Super Frogs get 2 in a row?
All right, Channels makes his gateway there, and this would be a very small map for the Warlocks, so they could potentially see goes on him, but I would think that they would make those openers onto Cubsy. And there's a mark of Illumina onto Cubsy with that Garrote, as we were talking about. Is choosing to hold his attribute. He uses it just before the kidney. That was such a beautiful hold by Cubsy. They're timing that to perfection. And now Acrolos gets put into his stun. They swap over to him. He uses his trinket. Cap stun lands onto Rapai as well. He gets stunned again. A lot of pressure coming in from Acrolo. Mara using that temporal shield. Another spell lock comes out by Channels. He's hit every single spell lock in this entire tournament.
All right, Super Frogs have defused that initial attack, but Acro was patient and held on to Vendetta to now use here. But he gets incapacitated away by Chun-Li. Chun-Li trying to peel the entire team off of Cubsy. It's basically protect Cubsy at all costs. Will he be able to keep him alive long enough? He's got Earthen Shield Totem around the corner. Chun-Li rolls back in, but Radapai's moving in for a potential Fear stun combo. He's in position and waiting. They could even swap potentially here. I find it would be unlikely, but they need to force the trinket from Cubsy soon. They need to get it on the next kidney shot. Cubsy jumps away, but he's out of position. He's nowhere near the gateway. He needs to start making his way back to that, and he's desperately trying to make laps to do so. Fist of Fury on Acro buying more time. Fear on Maro to borrow more time for Cubsy to make it back to this position where he can now go down the ramp to the gateway. Acro seems to be a bit more of a target in this match. They're just trying to burn the game out. There's the life grip, but he jumps away. Cubsy trying to reposition. Great Fear timings from Chanimal, but the arcane missiles are flying. Maro's trying to fake cast and get through those. Looks like he's managed to not get as much damage as he needed to. Now full Fear secured. Maro could be in trouble.
Indeed, Team Chunimals with the superb peeling all game, as well as the pressure now on the Maro. He uses that massive as well as the temporal shield, and they baited the pain suppression earlier from Radapai with that touch of death. So those are huge defensive cooldowns lost on the side of making the move, and they need to do something now because they're in real big trouble. Acrolot's having to use that evasion as well as the Cloak of Shadows. Maro dropping very low here. Chun-Li just crushing them. The Fist of Fury forcing their ice block. Fears on the Acrolots. They cancel the ice block. They got rid of these huge defensive cooldowns.
Yes, Cubsy looking for a cheeky hex on Radapai. Shadow for death there. Did he premonition it? No, he faked the premonition. Nice job by Cubsy. That hex is buying a bit more pressure to put towards Maru. Now there's the full kidney shot. Vendetta gets popped, but Cubsy can easily just trinket, and he does do so. I like that trinket. Now they need to get aggressive with purges and damage. Double stun landed by Chun-Li. He's swapping over to Acro. No defensives for him. Getting bursted down below half. Radapai trying to fake cast the inner, but gets fully feared. Unfortunately breaks. Now he gets interrupted though, and Acro's still in trouble. He can't stay on target with that Vendetta. Chun-Li's pushing him back with too much pressure. Chun-Li now switching targets to Maro. There's the gateway from Cubsy. Good effective kiting from Cubsy in this match. Acro still trying to keep up the pressure. Chun-Li staying on his back to support Cubsy, and I think as long as Chun-Li keeps playing good defense and teamwork with Cubsy, that Super Frogs are going to walk away with this.
Indeed, and Chun-Li's doing just that. He's popping his Storm Earth and Fire onto Acrolos right now. It forces out the Rapture to save him for now. That's Radapai's last defensive for around 1 minute 30 seconds. Fear onto Chun-Li though, kidney on the Cubsy. They need the pressure now. Arcane missiles flying, but he gets spell locked. Once again, Chanimal's in clutch with that spell lock defensively. It's going to allow Cubsy to survive, and it's looking stronger and stronger for Super Frogs.
I like this kiting pattern from Cubsy. It's basically a triangle through the middle and around the outside. We can see if any crowd control is secured onto Radapai. There's a full Fear. He premonitions it. Nice job from Radapai. Now he does not need to use his trinket to break out of that. It's going to allow him to easily keep Maro at full HP. Maro in a great defensive position as well, as they're just poking at Chanimal, trying to bait an Earth Shield swap, but if they're not careful, that poke can turn into real damage. Chanimal's just going to pour it away. He doesn't want Cubsy to be stressed out too much, but because Super Frogs are playing more passive, mana is much more even this game, and the later we get into it, it might be more and more risky for Cubsy to keep this game going. We see Chanimal ducking out of line of sight of that Mark of Alanith. Chun-Li now stunning at Maro to deny it even further. Cubsy caught into a kidney shot, but Maro's getting feared away. Nice counter spell though, denying the re-fear. He's not able to get any damage though. Chun-Li's support is just too great. We see Earthen Shield Totem, Astral Shift traded out for Vendetta, a fair trade for Cubsy. He's in a decent position to get to the gateway out of this as well, if needs so. Radapai down to half mana, but Cubsy's even lower. Trinket Spirit Link coming off. I would love to see Chun-Li start getting more setups on Maro at this position. There's really no threat from the team of making a movie for quite some time.
Indeed, the kidney onto Chan was a full blind on a Cubsy, and this is where they need to get the trinkets or get the pressure rolling in, but excellent defensive play once again from Super Frogs. Chanimal's just instantly teleports away, and he's going to survive that blind go without using trinkets, but Cubsy gets spell locked. Arcane missiles onto Chanimal's. He's going to be in trouble. Kidney on the Cubsy now as well. He has the Earth Shield on himself, but they're doing so much pressure. A beautiful paralysis once again from Chun-Li with the Fizz. The Chanimal's peeling is just on fire right now. They are doing such an excellent job surviving, and now Maro's getting bursted as well. Doesn't have that ice block for around a minute. There is that pain suppression if needed. Maro trying to get that Mark of a Lunafal. He gets sheared on it. Super Frogs just looking better and better, and now dampening has just started, Sid.
And I'd like to remind you, this is a elimination series. The loser of this series will be going home, and the winner will advance to face the move. So there's a lot on the line. This is a swing match as well. If Cubsy can stay alive long enough to pull the game back in his favor. Nice spell lock, Fist of Fury. Great cross crowd control from the team of the Super Frogs. Radapai is forced to trinket. Maro is on the run. Chun-Li getting polymorphed away. Great peels from him, but Chanimal is trying to go for a solo kill. Looking for a Fear on Acro. Lots of unstable afflictions, but nice counter spell. Going to be interrupting the follow-up from Maro. Now they're going to be looking for one more swap to Cubs. They need to get Trinket, and then they need to kill him in the next kidney shot. And if they can accomplish that, Ratify is almost completely tapped on mana.
Indeed, this is looking so good for Super Frogs. Acrolow's having to use that Cloak of Shadows as well as the evasion on. There could be a swap potential onto him, but they'll most likely go for Maro. Here's the Vendetta, here's the Arcane Power. So much burst damage coming out onto Cubsy right now, but the peels from Chunimals once again just doing so much work. The Urban Shield Tome comes down now as well to reduce this pressure. A beautiful triple fear, but it just triple breaks, and this Vendetta and Arcane Power aren't doing as much pressure as they should have done.
Cubsy's positioning is great in this series, and it's forcing Making a Movie to switch targets, but they're also responding to it quite effectively by having pressure on 3 targets. So this is just a perfect game from both sides as we're going down to the wire with both healers so dangerously low on mana. How much longer can each team keep this going? Lots of unstable afflictions being casted by Chanimal, 3 in a row. Maro is going to be taking a ton of damage. Ratify may have to trade Pain Suppression. Temporal Shield instead. There's a full staff secured onto Cubsy. Chanimal down to about half HP. He can easily portal and gate back to safety, but he's being risky here. If Acro Shadow Steps Kidneys, there's the port. He can gate now. Will he trade it out? He uses the Nether Ward to spell Reflected Barrage, reducing a lot of damage. He's staying on that gateway, but now they're going to swap to Cubsy. Chanimal and Chun-Li both Frost Nova out of line of sight. They can't support Cubsy. He's able to duck out of the stun, get to the gateway. His entire team dipping low, Making a Movie trying to keep this game going for as long as possible, but they still haven't got the trinket from Cubsy. Maybe a miracle swap to Chun-Li is really their only opening right now.
Indeed, Chanimal's with a beautiful speller once again, saving those defensive corners. He's taking a lot of burst damage himself. The missiles after missiles getting completely slaughtered. Cubsy just about out healing this. He doesn't really have too many defensive corners. He has the Ascendus and the Spirit Link if needed. Maro taking a lot of damage. The Temporal Shield comes out. Not sure if it'll be enough. Chanimals get super low. Maro super low as well. The Temporal Shield actually gets purged, and he might just go down. He has the Ice Block if needed. Chun-Li even trying to crackle his way to victory, but is unable to find it. Good hold from Maro, playing excellently defensively.
Yeah, that greed will let him use Ice Block to break crowd control to go for a kill, potentially right here and now. There's the Spirit Link and the Trinket used together, and now they get a double stun. Ratify has nothing. Acro could easily fall as a Fist of Fury, Rising Sun Kick, Whirling Dragon Punch, every single type of attack from a monk in the game to take Acro down. This was the most well-played game of 3v3 I think I've seen this expansion. Both teams completely tapped. They laid everything out on the table.
And folks, the implications of this in the series are absolutely huge. Obviously, it's big because we find Super Frogs on match point, but this was the swing matchup. Now Super Frogs have done it twice in a row. We talked about how Making a Movie had the options to actually switch what they were playing, going into basically using the information that they were getting from Super Frogs. They could take that all the way to Game 5. Seago, that no longer is going to be the case. Is that game plan going to be viable anymore?
I mean, now they only have one option. Either they blind picks up Frost for the rest of the series. I don't think that's very likely. Or they just go with Arcane Asa every single game. I think that's the way to go from here for Making a Movie, because Arcane Asa is definitely the better option against this Windwalker Lock Shaman. But, you know, they could potentially get countered. They could fight against the RLS, against something else that the Super Frogs have up in their sleeves. So this could honestly be very, very important. If the game goes to a Game 5, the Super Frogs are going to have that counter pick in their back to kill Chanimal.
Well, they need to make it here because Supatis,
this is a fitting final resting place as Runes of Lordaeron is a cemetery. This could be it for Making a Movie as the Super Frogs look to jump to victory. Ratify, Acro, and Maro need to be aggressive. They need to stay on target. They're on the clock against the Frogs.
Indeed, and this opener is going to be a huge one for Making a Movie. They need to try and force those defensive corners once again. Get that same opener in Nagrand Arena that get those defensive corners out of the way, but they're not able to right now. They open up into channel as Maro finds a sheep on the Cubsy, immediately paralysis and then Fist of Furies onto Maro as well. He does trinket out of it. Acrolos gets stunned as well. Both human trinkets out the way, and so far no defenses on the side of Cubsy right now, or Chanimals or Chun-Li. They're looking very good, Sid.
Yes, Chanimal and Cubsy are trying to keep max distance now, gating across the map to reconnect, as it does appear to be Chanimal as the primary focus target. He's got his portal at the Tombstone. He's going to be looking to make max distance away from that for the most effective distance. We see lots of unstable afflictions being casted by Chanimal. He's looking to try and set up a fear on Acro as well, but it's basically a 1v1 between Chanimal and Maro. He is not taking the best of this exchange. Cubsy may be afraid of getting counterspelled in this position. Now caught into a kidney shot. They make the swap. Making making a movie, making a lot of plays this game. I love the swaps. It's making it very difficult. Cubsy had to use his trinket astral shift. He still counterspell. They could stay on target. No, Maro is splitting and attacking Chanimal as well to try and make sure that Cubsy can't predict who they're going after. Maro, though, getting gunned down by Chun-Li. We see a paralysis, but Chun-Li gets polyed away. Great peels here from Maro. Excellent polymorphs to pause this assault down.
Indeed, making a movie are doing such excellent swaps right now, causing so much havoc. And like you said, forcing that trinket from Cubsy, they're going to have the full blind, and there it is. They get so much pressure on the channels. They really want to force that Hellstone, though. He's so low on HP. They follow up with a stab. Surely he has to use it. He gets Garrosh. There's that Hellstone. They're chunking through him, completely destroying him. No demonic resolve just yet, though. Chun-Li with the beautiful peels right there. The Fist of Furies onto Acrolos, and the double leg sweep on the Rattapie, and Maro is going to keep him alive for now. He's still so low. The cross kick on the Cubsy there. It looks like he's going to be able to stabilize. Yes, he's getting those healing waves. Full fear on the Rattapie right now. Chun-Li going for Maro, unable to get the stuns. He gets the Fist of Fury. It's half. Can they burst him down in this? The temporal shield and the ice block overlap now. That Hex was beautiful onto Rattapie.
Yeah, and now both teams in a bit of trouble. Cubsy could get swapped to with no trinket. That's basically their last play here, and they have to be careful. It's such open field. Chanimal can instantly punish with fears on Rata. This could swing back at any moment. Cubsy gates away. He does not want to throw the game and get feared by Rattapie, trying to create a lot of distance. Chanimal repositioning. Maro, what's he going to do? He's got Mass Invis. He's got Arcane Power. Every cooldown is up to one-shot Cubsy. They need to make the perfect swap. Rattapie life grips Acro over to try and shadow step. Cubsy line sights it perfectly at the tombstone, but they're all starting to dogpile. He pre-earthens it. He knew it was coming. Now they stack up for a double leg sweep. Chun-Li can easily reverse the pressure, but Rattapie goes for a double fear. He secures the barrier to try and protect, but he can't stand still. If you stand next to Chun-Li too long, that is not a monk you want to have kicking your face in. Chun-Li gets polymorphed away. Maro blinks in, but they've survived the swap perfectly.
Indeed, Superfrog survived that perfectly. He still has the Astral Shift as well as the Spirit Link, and now he's going to have his trinket back for the blind if needed. Maro's in a lot of trouble here. Fist of Fury out. So much damage coming in from Chun-Li and Chanimal's the cap stun on the Rattapie into the Hex. Maro could just go down here. The Touch of Death gets used as well. He's doing an excellent job just blinking away right now. Full fear on the Cubsy as well. And it looks like they're stabilizing with that Rapture from Rattapie, but that's their last cooldown for such a long time.
Maro completely outplayed that Touch of Death. Perfect kiting on his part during a moment where he was very vulnerable, and he needs to keep this up for almost another minute and 30 seconds. Otherwise, no one on his team can really help him out. They go for another swap. Is Cubsy ready for this? We see paralysis on the Rattapie. They're reversing the pressure. This is match point for the Super Frogs. Volvir on the Rattapie. Premonitions it. Maro temp shields at 20%. Is it still match point? Chun-Li gunning down. Frost Nova on the Tiger's Lust by Maro. Perfect timing, but Cubsy dispels it. Chun-Li just trying to stay on target. Maro with perfect kiting. Great job from Rattapie to maintain his mana thus far as well. This game could easily still go down to the wire, Joe.
Indeed, this map is also nearly backfiring for them right now. Chun-Li just able to cause so much havoc onto Maro. Chanimal's very low now as well. I don't believe he has the Hellstone. He uses that unending resolve now. Cubsy with the Astral Shift as well. This is the Arcane Power and the Vendetta right now. So many offensive cooldowns forced, but it looks like Super Frogs are going to be able to stabilize for now, but they need to find that win condition. Maro has his Ice Block in around 2 minutes. Pain suppression coming out. But Chanimal's getting bursted down with those Arcane missiles. Acrolos gets peeled now with that paralysis. They're going to stabilize.
Maro is easily the MVP in this match. Even though he's so far behind on cooldowns, he's still making things happen. Now there's a big opening to kill Cubsy or Chanimal. Fortunately, they have trinkets to try and deflect through it, but they could easily get crowd controlled on their trinkets and need to be careful. Maro is baiting Chun-Li far away, then displacing back. Acro is moving in for a stun. He gets feared off. Maro now gets clotheslined by a leg sweep. He's forced to use his human racial to break out, trying to kite Cubsy gates from the pressure that Acro was starting to put on, but he will eventually make his way to Cubsy, so Cubsy's trying to bait Maro into the room out of line of sight of Rattapie. That will also drag Rattapie into the open map. Cubsy's positioning is perfect, but now he gets counterspelled. Maro, MVP, trying to set up to kill Chanimal. How much damage do they have? They go for a swap with the kidney shot, trying to keep the pressure onto 2 targets. That Earth Shield is not as effective. Rattapie maybe should go for a drink in this position. He just needs a bit more mana to keep his team going. We've just now set into dampening.
Indeed, and I actually think he got a bit of rested mana there, but he gets spell locked right now as well. Maro using that temporal shield early, just knowing he gets put into that spell lock and the seduce. Chanimal's getting some unstable afflictions out, though Maro doesn't have any defensive cooldowns for quite some time. Rattapie using that Archangel Rapture to survive, but now the Vendetta comes out on the Cubsy as well. It actually forces the Trinket Urban Shield Totem as well. Chun-Li doing an amazing job peeling. Stun onto Rattapie as well as the Fears coming out onto Acro.
All right, both teams took a huge hit there when Cubsy ran into the middle of the map. Maro got clothesline. That was the Rapture Archangel, so Rattapie's power heals are gone. Ascendance was used from Cubsy. His power heals are gone, and now he's caught into a full blind, and Chanimal's on the run, trying to kite paralysis on Acro. Interferes are buying more time, but now Arcane Missiles get nether warded. Chanimal gates skates across the map. He needs to keep kiting. This crowd control is almost going to last infinity. He has to avoid them for as long as possible. He's just hiding in the room, cowering in the corner, waiting for Cubsy to get out of this crowd control, but it's just so long. Can he connect it? He gets the Spirit Link in the final seconds. Chun-Li gets his way in there as well, but now they can swap off that. The health has been redistributed. Cubsy is forced to immediately retreat back to the tombstone on the side. Rattapie moving in for a potential Psychic Scream. Rattapie is almost completely tapped. They've got maybe 1 or 2 more setups left in them. Will they be able to do it? Cubsy caught into the stun. Mara blinks into perfect position to avoid being spell locked. He gets Fist of Fury on the final seconds, but it is not going to be enough. Making a movie tie this up. We are going to game number 5.
We are going all the way to a game number 5 to determine who will continue to fight in the lower portion of the bracket. Making a movie all of the sudden. I just can't even believe that they're able to do it, but they will not have that advantage. That is one thing to know going into that game number 5. That will be the advantage of the Super Frogs here. But Morrow, we need to talk about Morrow, and luckily we got the Mage King on the end of the desk. Zico, Morrow is a madman.
Maru finally did what he should be doing this entire series. He was kiting Chun-Li so much. It forced Chun-Li to eventually stop chasing him because he just couldn't reach him. And the way to do that is to, unfortunately, you have to sacrifice some of your damage on that Warlock or on the Shaman to spam those barrages on the Monk, make sure that he is physically snared, 50% snare from the Chrono Shift, and then Maru, of course, is going to be sped up the whole time as well. And then when you can force Chun-Li to use his Tiger's Lust on one of those slows, you can connect the full Frost Nova. I really want to see making a movie try to go for the Mass Invis Sheep on Cubsy and then go on the Chanimal.
Let's see who is able to take this one. The winner of this plays against the move. The loser is eliminated in the last tournament of Legion.
This game could instantly be ended in a blink of your eye, ladies and gentlemen. You want to stay tuned. You want to get your friends in here as soon as possible. As you can see, Mickey and the movie are going to start their assault on Chanimal. They want to lock him out early on. Morrow, Mass Invis Polymorph potentially here on Cubsy. Will he be able to get it? Yes, he gets the Polymorph. The great start, but Chanimal instantly ports. Immediate reaction time there. Rattapie moving across the map, but Morrow blinking back to actually make a swap to Wealthy Man. We saw Wealthy Man overextend in this series yesterday and go down, and it looks like Mickey and the movie are trying to expose that weakness here today.
Indeed, Cubsy actually sneaked in that Earth Shield just before the blind, and that's what's keeping Wealthy Man alive. But now he is getting a bit low here. Mara trying to get a Mark of a Loon if Wealthy Man garrots that into a kidney shot. It looks like they're going to be gunning down for Mara. He uses that Trinkle Temporal Shield to answer the Vendettas coming out from both rogues right now. A lot of pressure on the Cubsy as well, using that Trinket and the Astral Shift as well as the Healing Tide, Earthen Shield to him. So a lot of defensive cooldowns on the side of Super Frogs.
I would definitely say the Super Frogs are behind about 30% overall in this game. It's going to be difficult for them to get aggressive when they have no defensive cooldowns to back up. Cubsy gates while he's interrupted. Perfect timing there, but he left Wealthy Man behind. He's very overextended behind the pillar. He trinkets. He tries to duck back in line of sight, but a defensive Succubus. In desperation, Chanimal thought the game was going to be over. Now that Succubus threat is not going to be there for Rattapie, and the Super Frogs are starting to flail here. Wealthy Man needs to be so careful moving forward.
Indeed, he used that to try and save Wealthy Man's trinket, but he trinketed in a panic, and that's going to be so devastating for Super Frogs, losing another huge defensive cooldown, and it looks like they're just going to be pounding onto Wealthy Man right now. Maybe look for those swaps outside of the Earth Shield, try and get some pressure with those Arcane Missiles, full fear on the Acro. Mara not really taking too much pressure, he's just kiting Wealthy Man for days, and a full fear on the Rattapie. Kidney shot on the Cubsy now. He's doing a lot of damage with these missiles. Trinkets out of the kidney. He wants to try and get some pressure, but is unable to.
Yeah, Cubsy had great positioning there to bait Acro Amaro as deep as possible for his team to get counter pressure. He's actually secured a full Hex on the Rattapie. Unfortunately, breaking a little bit early. Now Maro on the run. Archangel activated. Rattapie can do a ton of healing in this position. The Polymorph breaking on Cubsy. That's a bit of an error there. Cubsy tries to jump out, but he gets kidney shot on the jump. Vendetta gets popped. Fear on Wealthy Man. He can't support. Cubsy in a 2v3, trying to hang on, but it looks like he should be able to make it out alive. Healing Surges with Ascendance come crashing. He tries to fake cast the kick, trying to get through the interrupts. Maro has to block in the meantime through Wealthy Man's pressure, and suddenly this is a tied game at this point. I feel like anybody can still take it. Rattapie caught into a fear chain. Acro is rotting down. Chanimal doing tons of damage.
Indeed, he had to use that Cloak of Shadow due to Chanimal's damage. They get a kidney onto Wealthy Man, though. He has no trinket. Blind on the Cubsy. He could just fall down now. He comes out, uses that Cloak of Shadows. Yes, Cheap Shot. Sap lands on the Cubsy. Wealthy Man using that Health Stone as well to survive. Fear gonna follow up, but it's gonna be half. Now Mara in trouble, uses his trinket to get out. Instantly gets a spell lock by Chanimals there. Great lockdown for him once again.
Look where Chanimal is. He's just running down Maro. He wants to find a win very soon, but they could be overextending as Cubsy gets caught into the kidney shot. A ton of damage is flying forward. Cubsy has Earthen Shield, but he drops Spirit Link Totem instead. This might end up being a bit of an error. That's such an emergency cooldown, and I don't know if that situation really called for it. Now he's not going to have that to get out of a situation later on, but Ratapie is almost doomed. Who is going to finish this match? We're on Game 5, tournament lives on the line. Will North America stay in it? Cubsy caught into another stun from Acro. He's going all in. Maro displays his back. Chanimal trying to back him up with some spam fears, but instant dispel. Gets kidney shot on the dispel. Fear onto Ratapie. Great crowd control from the Super Frogs. Right now, Maro is in trouble. Drained Soul is being channeled. Chanimal is trying to drain victory from this team as the Hex is secured. Maro will fall. The Super Frogs keep their dreams alive in game number 5.
Oh my goodness, and this is going to be, another NA team is going to advance. We have 2 teams from the EU and 2 teams from NA in our top 4. The Super Frogs have done it. They have made it through making a movie, breaking out a brand new composition in game number 5. An incredibly hard decision to make on the fly, and we are going to see Wealthy Man help deliver that victory to his team. They are going to move on in this tournament, and that is scary for every other team in this top 4, because it doesn't matter what region you are from. Serious respect coming out from Super Frogs, but good games all around. Making a movie could not have played better in that series, Zico.
Absolutely. I mean, making a movie, they had a few blunders early on in the match, but then they found that big force onto Cubsy's trinket, and they also found a force onto Wealthy Man's trinket. So they had that situation where they could set up with the blind, with the full kidney onto Wealthy Man and try to take him down. But again, Chanimal is too good at this game, peeling, stopping everything that the Making a Movie are throwing their way. In my mind, this was really the last-ditch effort for Making a Movie in this particular clip here, trying to take down Wealthy Man. Didn't really manage to do it, unfortunately. And what led to this situation is the fact that Cubsy doesn't have his trinket because he used it on a stun, which makes him susceptible, of course, to the full blind, followed up by a full sap. And then Wealthy Man as well does not have his trinket, but he does have his Cloak of Shadows and a Health Stone. So in order to kill Wealthy Man in a setup like this, you need to take him down 100-0 in a stun lock. Now, the good news is you do have arcane power on the side of Maro, so you do have the potential to do that. And then Acro, of course, does have his Kingsbane. He does have his Vanish as well to get that empowered Garrote, to get that extended stun lock, but it's not enough when Chanimals isn't in crowd control. There it is, full kidney. Maro's gonna drop some of that missiles. There is the Arcane Barrage as well. There's the Orb, a lot of damage coming out. Acro's gonna follow up with the sap, and if you survive at this point, Making a Movie has no blind, and Cubsy still has his trinket. So at this point, you are going to be, at least 2 setups behind. There's no way you can survive this and actually bring it back, because the game is pretty much not just a reset, but it's a reset where you don't have your abilities that are the ones that force the trinket, the arcane power, and the blind, of course. So once that situation has been weathered, then it's pretty much smooth sailing here. Beautiful crowd control as well from Super Frogs. These guys play this comp so well, getting a full fear onto Ratapie.
I'm here with the man, the myth, the legend, Chun-Li. What was it like for you? Obviously, you played a well-fought series. It's tied up 2-2. What was it like sitting back and watching Wealthy Man sort of come in and having to watch your team sort of in that last game?
Definitely very nerve-wracking, because I've never really sat on the bench before in tournaments, and just watching a healer's point of view, especially, is just I don't know, just very scary.
Yeah, especially when they're up against a good team and it's so back and forth. Obviously a very exciting series. We've asked you this question before. Obviously, you've been representing Windwalker Monk at a very high level in North America. Now that Serenity is in the spec, what do you think it is that separates you from other Monk players?
Honestly, I think my decision-making and just my peels are just way more on point than any other Windwalker. And I can confidently say that.
Yeah, I could pretty much confidently say that too. I hate playing against you very much. Moving forward into your next series, you know you're going to be playing the Move. Are you confident in that matchup, and do you have any words for them going forward?
I'm really skeptical about the matchup because we go back and forth in war games a lot. I guess the better team's just going to win that match, to be honest, whoever plays better on stage.
Winner take all. Love it. Thanks for the interview. Back to you, Rich.